Call 387-2323.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane's studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in! Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Tuesday. Means we're brought to you by Daryl May of RE/MAX Partners. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Appreciate you hanging out with us here on this Tuesday. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos, and lots to do. Glenn West in 30 minutes. LSU basketball wins last night. Colin Jeter, LSU Alumni Association, former Tiger tight end, with us at 2 o'clock. Sharif Ishak talking Saints at 2:30. Talk a little LSU-Arkansas along the way as well. But unfortunately, it's not my favorite topic in the world. It's going to kick off the show, but it's got to happen. So let's do it with our Genesis opening drive.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Genesis of Baton Rouge.
So Brian Kelly is suing LSU. By now, you're aware of this. I have spent my entire morning, the entire first part of my day, going through all of this. I have learned a lot, unfortunately. I don't like dealing with any of it, but it is a national news story and one that is not going away right now. So I'm going to lay all this out for you, and then there's an angle to this that I find most impactful, and I will get to that as I flesh out the story. But let's go back in time and put out some dates here, and I will tell you what has happened based on the legal filings and the conversations that we've had here over the last 5 hours. LSU got their butt kicked by Texas A&M on the 25th. On the 26th, Scott Woodward and some LSU administrators met with Brian Kelly, informed him that his time at LSU was over. Then, later that week, 3 days later, Jeff Landry was at that press conference for SNAP benefits and declared that Scott Woodward would not be hiring the next head coach, that the state was on the hook for a $53 million liability, and that hit the streets. Then you had Scott Woodward let go the next day. Mutual parting of ways, as it were, on a Thursday evening. The next day, Verge was put in place as the interim athletic director, and at that point, LSU had no president, no athletic director, no football coach. That was the 31st of October. You get President Roos appointed on the 4th, and he names Verge Osbury the acting athletic director. And then the next day says, well, couldn't make that decision 4 hours into the job, but we'll make that decision down the road. And then you see Verge Osbury 2 days later on the field with the president. He's the athletic director. Go hire a coach. Okay. Well, then that story develops yesterday when we get the word that Brian Kelly's attorneys had said, hey, LSU, by 5 o'clock, you need to let us know that you're going to be paying this buyout in full, or that you are agreeable to that. And that is when, according to this lawsuit that Brian Kelly has filed against LSU, that LSU informed Brian Kelly that, hey, we're going to pursue firing you with cause. And that's when Brian Kelly's team went, wait a second. In our contract, it says you have 7 days from termination to suggest you're going to be firing Brian Kelly with cause. It's been way more than 7 days. And LSU says, no. We did not fire you back on October 26th. Scott Woodward did that. He can't do that. And you listening to me right now might be going, wait a second, he's the athletic director. Of course he can hire and fire coaches, which is in his course and scope of work. Hiring and firing coaches is in his course and scope of work. However, this is LSU's contention in this matter. If there is a coach on campus who makes more than $250,000 annually, that hiring and firing must be approved by the Board of Supervisors. Scott Woodward in that Sunday meeting on the 26th of October, the day after LSU lost to Texas A&M, did not have the Board of Supervisors' approval to make that firing. That is LSU's contention. So while Scott Woodward may have said, yeah, your time here is done, and Brian Kelly may have cleaned out his office, LSU's saying, well, Scott Woodward didn't have that authority. He acted independently, and we have not fired you formally. So now we're going to pursue cause. This is the part that irritates me personally, and it's why I could never, ever, ever be an attorney. One, probably not bright enough. I'd spend more time breaking down weekend rotations for Mississippi State than I do actual things that matter. Fully aware of that. But I get irritated at stuff like this because, in my opinion, I want to be very clear, I'm giving my opinion here. Attorneys are oftentimes paid to tell half the truth, to paint things only one way. And I can't do that. It's not in my personality. I'm a communicator. I like to talk. I like to lay cards on the table. Attorneys are shoving cards in lockers and making sure the only cards that are up here visible are the ones that they want to see, and it drives me insane. I don't like dealing with it. This is a me problem, not a you problem. It's a me problem. I just don't like it. But that's the point here. Brian Kelly's attorneys are saying, hey, you fired him, said it wasn't for cause. We're open to settlements. Don't like the offers you've made. And in the lawsuit, LSU offered $25 million lump sum, then came back hours later and offered $30 million in 2 payments. Brian Kelly said no to those 2. We have learned that Brian Kelly's camp countered with $43 million, and LSU said no. So that's the negotiation. And there are plenty of you, and I said yesterday, LSU just needs to pay the guy his money. But we did lay out the reasons why an upfront lump sum would be beneficial in some cases. If there's no mitigation with future earnings, if you feel like if I get a lump sum of X amount and I invest that properly, I'll beat the $54 million by the time 2031 rolls around. Like, there are reasons why you would take a lump sum instead of $800,000 a month moving forward. It's just like the lottery, right? But Brian Kelly has balked at what LSU has offered, and LSU has balked at what Kelly's camp countered with. And now we're into semantics about whether or not Brian Kelly actually got fired 2 weeks ago. And that's for the attorneys to figure out. I will tell you this. This is the point that I'm making with this. I don't know if LSU's argument that Scott Woodward couldn't make that firing holds any water in a court of law. I have no idea. I don't know if LSU has cause to fire Brian Kelly. The clause in his contract, which I have read through, which is in the ESPN story, you can search the contract on the internet now. The clause in the contract is very vague. There are things about morals and the standard of LSU, and I'm not going to play with the rumor mill that everybody's playing with in Baton Rouge. I've heard it all. I know what people are saying. I have no idea if any of that holds up. I don't know. So I don't know if they have ground to stand on with Woodward. I don't know if they have cause. I don't know if Brian Kelly will settle. I don't know if Scott Woodward had the $54 million raised on that Sunday. I don't know if they have $54 million set aside right now. I don't know. I don't know if this process has rubbed people the wrong way and they did pledge the money because they did believe in Scott Woodward, but now that Scott Woodward's been fired, they now have backed that money out. Like, I don't know all that stuff. I don't have a firsthand accounting of that. There are too many people moving around. It's now a pending legal situation. You're not going to get people to talk about it. I don't know about any of that. What I know is that this, from the outside, looks atrocious. It looks awful that LSU had an athletic director that was making decisions that now the Board of Supervisors is saying he didn't have the authority to make. It looks awful, in my opinion, that the governor is lambasting an athletic director in a press conference about snaps. It looks awful that the president was put into place and then basically backtracked on the fact that Verge Osbury was the athletic director and then had to come and issue a statement on the other side. It looks awful that now LSU is attempting to use some semantics and may not be paying the full buy. All of this looks awful. Again, I don't know how any of it is going to play out. I don't have all the evidence. I don't have all the information. I'm not an attorney. I can't predict the future and what's going to happen with all this. But I know that LSU is now trying to hire a football coach, and this looks terrible. I know that. Now, Verge Osbury certainly has more information than I do. Certainly has more information than I do. And his job is to go out there and communicate the situation to LSU. He's the athletic director. The president is in place. I have no reason to believe that LSU is going to go out there and try to offer a 4-year, $11 million contract to a big-name head coach. Like, Virgil Osbury is going to go out there and try to find a head coach. And perhaps the ending of this story is that everything works out just fine. And the court deals with Brian Kelly, and maybe he wins and maybe he loses. And that's money that is not mine. So what's the difference? I just care about who the next coach is. And all of it may work out just fine. But that's in the future. All I can do is sit here in the present and go, this is, on every level, a PR nightmare for LSU. It spans from the governor at the top of the state all the way down through the administrators of LSU. And I'm not even here to assign blame for things that have definitely been done wrong. That's not even why I'm here. I'm here to tell you it looks awful. The optics stink. And there had to be a way to do this more effectively and more efficiently with a lot of people involved. There just had to be. And this is the way that it's playing out. And it's going to play out, I believe, messily in a court of law. Maybe they reach a settlement in the next 48 hours. I don't know what LSU has. I don't know what Brian Kelly's team knows. That morality clause is real vague. But dealing with this is just, it's a black eye on the state and the university right now. I don't know how you could phrase it any other way. Now, if I'm going to use that analogy, black eyes heal. And this one very well may. And I've talked to enough people who feel one way or another. There are plenty of people that are in a camp going, hey, LSU was dysfunctional. This athletic director is handing out money like it's candy. And that needed to go. You got to clean up. You got to clean house. And you got to break some eggs to make an omelet here. And the LSU will come out of this fine. I've heard a lot of people say that. Heard a lot of people say the governor's got his hands in all this stuff. The administration is a mess. They don't know what they're doing on the board of supervisors. Coaches are not going to go coach for this guy. I've heard that side of it too. I'm not here to take one of those sides. I don't know the answer. I'm just here to observe from the outside, to look at what people all over the country are saying about LSU. And if every single person that you look at, from college football fan to media personality to, news journalists to sports journalists to whoever, everybody is looking at this in the same way going, not great, Louisiana. Why would it stand to reason that football coaches feel significantly differently? I don't know that it would. So we'll see what Verge Osbury is able to do. And ultimately, we're probably not going to know the inner workings of what happens in the coaching search. But this has been a mess. And I feel like there was a more tactful way to go about this on so many levels. And we've just blown right by that. I don't know what the result's going to be, but it's a bad look, y'all. It is a bad, bad look. All right, that's our opening drive. It's brought to you by Genesis of Baton Rouge. We'll step aside. Let's talk a little LSU and Arkansas. Should we do that? We'll do it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Daryl May of Remax Partners, licensed realtor in Louisiana and Mississippi. Daryl's life's work makes him such a great resource for those that are buying and selling homes in the Baton Rouge area. He's from here. He knows the areas. He knows where to live, where to look. He also spent 20 years in building. He knows what you should be looking for in terms of the home that's going to be your next. So if you want a realtor who's got a unique skill set of understanding the layout and the lay of the land here in the Baton Rouge area, but also knows what you're looking for from a construction perspective, Daryl May is that resource for you. Looking for a spot outside the city limits, outside the hustle bustle? Daryl is a St. Francisville resident now, born and raised in Baton Rouge, Catholic high grad, but now up in St. Francisville. He can help you with that type of a move as well. Such a great resource, such a great partner to the show here, and we appreciate him for bringing you our Tuesday shows each and every week. It's Daryl May of Remax Partners.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. At
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance, Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith, Shaw & Fagan & Associates, we know each case and client are unique, and that no two cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
I'm gonna move on to football. It's my desire to do so in this moment. I will say that if you are interested in this legal proceeding with Brian Kelly, with LSU, with the state of Louisiana, Board of Supervisors, all that, Matt and I worked on a story this morning, really all morning for LouisianaSports.net. It is up right now. It has the clauses of the contract that at LSU suggests that Scott Woodward was essentially in violation of. That's probably a harsh way to say it. Right? That Scott Woodward didn't have the authority to make that decision based on the Board of Supervisors bylaws. It also has some information as to who would be on the hook for the $54 million should Brian Kelly win that judgment. So all that's there at LouisianaSports.net. I highly recommend y'all go to check it out. It is free. If you've clicked on some other links for information on this situation and you've gotten the paywall or you've gotten the pop-ups, and none of that going to happen at LouisianaSports.net. It's right there on the front page. You can go check it out. Matt and I worked on that all morning, so you can go check it out. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't like dealing with it. I find it to be frustrating to deal in legalese as much as you have to read this stuff and to interpret this stuff. And so I'm going to leave it right there. and we'll move on to LSU and Arkansas. I also wrote a piece for LouisianaSports.net today about the battle for the boot in this rivalry. There are so many people that have so many different feelings about LSU and Arkansas's rivalry. I would submit that it does mean more to Arkansas than it does to LSU. I think LSU fans find an inferiority complex with Arkansas. Maybe I should say LSU fans feel superior to Arkansas based on LSU's winning track record and kind of look down their nose at the fact that that would be a game that LSU is supposed to care about as much as the game against Alabama or as against Florida or against Auburn or even the way the Texas A&M has trended. It doesn't have the history that LSU and Ole Miss do. But it has been an impactful game, probably because of where it rested on the schedule. It was at the end of the schedule for so long. I really, really don't care about the $10,000 hunk of gold called the Golden Boot. Like, that's not going to get me all fired up to go to work in the morning. But you got to admit that there have been some moments between LSU and Arkansas over the years. I was actually I was 14 years old, a freshman in high school, when the Miracle on Markham happened. And my buddy, Scott, invited me and another friend to go up to Little Rock where he had family. And it was the first time I'd ever been to an LSU road game. And we road tripped up to Little Rock. And I remember thinking it was really weird that we parked on a golf course there in Little Rock. We went into War Memorial Stadium, and LSU really controlled the game, the whole game. And LSU, Matt Jones was the quarterback at Arkansas, and he hadn't done anything the entire day. And LSU's sitting there with a 6-point lead, under a minute to go. Arkansas has no timeouts, and they're pinned inside their own 20. And then, bam, Matt Jones hits a long pass down across midfield. And then with like 19 seconds left, he hits to Corey Birmingham. And I was a kid at the time. I was short, and I was in the end zone at War Memorial. And the pass was thrown down and to my left, and everyone stood up to try to see, and like I couldn't see. And so all of my this is still burned in my brain. All I saw was all of War Memorial Stadium stand up in red and roar. And at that point, like, I never saw the catch. It was down to my left. There's no Jumbotron at War Memorial at that point. So it was just a feeling of emptiness as the whole place roared. But I forgot, it had been so long, that tied the game. And Arkansas got a unsportsmanlike for excessive celebration, which moved the extra point back to like a 40-yard field goal, which they made to win the game with 20 seconds left. But I had forgotten about that, the miracle on Markham. Of course, another devastating memory for LSU fans was the triple overtime game in 2007 with the We Got That Wood with McFadden. I went back and looked at the box score from that game. And, I mean, you believe it, but Darren McFadden, Felix Jones, and Peyton Hillis in that game ran for 380 yards and 5 touchdowns. Now, triple overtime, more time, but 380 and 5 touchdowns. Our off-the-bench crew, the morning show, Flynn and Hester combined for 330 yards between the two of them, 4 touchdowns in that game. But that was an incredible game. And that's, I don't know, that one, because of the way things went the next week and the wildness in Atlanta and then the national championship, the emotions of that game get swept away for most LSU fans. But I remember sitting in that stadium as a student. I was a sophomore at LSU. I'd been to every game, and I would never, ever, ever, ever suggest that I was more distraught than Matt Flynn and Jacob Hester, who were on the team. But just speaking for myself as a student at the time, who had been to every game, who was a sophomore, like, I thought that the chance to win a national championship was lost that day for me as a student, which that's a pretty cool thing that I've got in my back pocket. I'd rather be on the team like Flynn and Hester. I'm not any good at football, so they don't want me on the team. But like to win a national championship while you're a student at LSU, that's a pretty cool thing, especially considering that game was in New Orleans. And you felt like all year, because LSU was preseason number 1 and they throttled Virginia Tech, and like you felt like they had a real chance to win the national championship, and it was right there in front of them. And then to have it taken away by little old Arkansas in Tiger Stadium on that Friday, like I remember sitting in the student section after that game was over, like my head in my hands, like I can't believe that's over. And then it wasn't, because LSU came back and got it done. I also have very, very vivid memories of the 2011 game. If I ran the numbers on this morning, it's wild. LSU, Alabama, and Arkansas that year in 2011 played 18 SEC games independent of one another. Like, obviously, they all played each other. They were all SEC West teams, so LSU played Bama and Arkansas. Arkansas played Bama and LSU. Bama played Arkansas and LSU. But if you take those games out and you just go with the SEC games that Arkansas, Bama, and LSU played that weren't against each other, they outscored their opponents. It was 18-0 is what they were, 18-0. LSU was undefeated. Bama lost once. Arkansas lost twice. But 18-0, they outscored their opponents by 486 points. That's 27 points per game. Only 2 of the 16 games that Alabama, LSU, and Arkansas played independent of each other were decided by single digits. 2 of 16. And 13 of the 16 were decided by 20-plus. 13 of 16 were 20-plus points. Look at what you watch every Saturday in the SEC this year. You rarely see teams getting boat raced by 20. Rarely. LSU and Arkansas and Bama were doing it every single week to these teams. And Arkansas came to Tiger Stadium ranked 3rd in the country to face number 1 LSU, unbeaten. And on the first play of the second quarter, Tyler Wilson touchdown down to the south end zone. I remember it very well. And then LSU got the ball back, and Michael Ford got the ball popped out of his arm, and Arkansas guy ran it in for a touchdown to go up 14-0 on that incredible 2011 LSU team. And from that 14-0 deficit, LSU from that point outscored Arkansas 41-3. The number 3 team in the nation, LSU outscored them 41-3 to finish 12-0 for the first time in school history. So I have very vivid memories of that game as well. Just crazy to see when that team flipped a switch, which usually was generated by the special teams or the offense, whether it was Tyron in that game, Tyron against Oregon, Tyron against Georgia, Mo Claiborne against West Virginia with the kickoff return for a touchdown. Like, generally the defense and the special teams made a play, and it just sparked the offense to go nuts. And that was certainly one of those days for LSU back in 2011. And then another memory that I've got, just because of where I was standing at the time, I was writing for Bayou Bengals Insider in 2013. Mettenberger tears his ACL. It's the 3,000-yard team with Mettenberger, Landry, Beckham. And so Odell goes out with injury. Mettenberger tears his ACL. You got to go to Anthony Jennings in this game against Arkansas, right? And you feel like it's pretty bleak. LSU's down by 3, and they get the ball back at their own 1-yard line in the south end zone. The 1-yard line is where LSU started from. And you had, that's 3:04 to play. I looked it up. 3:04 to play at the 1-yard line with Anthony Jennings, no Odell, and Mettenberger hurt. And they get a completion out to Deshaun Smith, and they get out close to midfield. And you got 1:04 left, called timeout, came out of the huddle, and then Anthony Jennings dropped back. And this is where I was standing. He throws deep down the left sideline. And when he throws that ball, I'm in the media, and we would go down for the last 5 minutes of every game on the field so that we could have press box access, so you didn't want to try to fight everyone that was leaving the stadium to get down to field level to go in for the post-game press conference, so we went early. And he threw it, and it looked like it was coming right to me. Like, I was standing on the sideline, and the flight of the ball is just coming right at me. And so I just peeked down to my right, and Traven Durrell is just running by himself. There's just no one there. And I was like, oh, my God. And he caught it, I would submit, 9 yards from me and walked into the end zone. There's a great picture. I don't even know where it is on the internet. It was on Twitter at one point of me and Shea Dixon standing right there as the ball is flying right in front, and Durrell catches it right in front of both of us. It's a great picture. But that's a core memory of mine just because I was on the field when it happened. The 2 moments I vividly recall being on the field for in my time covering LSU was it's 3 actually. 3 moments. In 2011, on the field for Tuscaloosa, overtime, Alamo field goal. Michael Ford stepped out right in front of me. Then I had this one with Durrell in 13, and also in 2012, I was on the field when TJ Yeldon caught the screen pass right there where Durrell was too, and that's where we always stood, and that was right in front of me as well. That one was not as happy. But this rivalry has been very interesting, I think. LSU has controlled it for the most part. The Tigers overall lead this series 45 wins to 23 losses. There have been 2 ties. But there was a time there from 06 to 15 where the 2 programs split 5-5 in 10 games. Arkansas has really struggled against LSU of late. LSU's won 8 of 9 in this series. The only exception was 2021 after Ed Ogeron had been fired. Arkansas came to Tiger Stadium and won in overtime. But beyond that, LSU's controlled it in 8 of the last 9 and certainly played well up in Fayetteville. May have been their best game last year, quite honestly, up in Fayetteville. We'll see how that moves forward this week. But I just wanted a little palate cleanser, a little trip down memory lane, a little LSU-Arkansas to kind of get away from the legal proceedings that were. We'll continue our football discussion. Glenn West will be with us when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Tub to shower conversions, something David and his team do all the time. There may be a number of reasons why you want to do a tub to shower conversion. Maybe you've got one of those big 90s style jacuzzis that doesn't function anymore. Maybe your bathtub's a little bit older, getting rusted, dingy, doesn't function anymore. Don't just call the guy down the street who's a handyman, give him some cash, and see if he can't rig up your bathtub. That's not a great idea. Instead, go to the company that's been doing this for 30 years. Go to the company that's licensed, bonded, insured. Go to the company that has a master plumber on staff and get that tub taken out. Maybe you don't use it. Maybe it's perfectly functional. You just don't use it. It's not like the Palmer family where we've got chaos in the bathtub every day at 6:30. Put a shower in. Tub to shower conversion with David Duvall and One Bath and Closets. That free consultation online at OneBathAndClosets.com. OneBathAndClosets.com.
My father, J.B. Faugu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Faugu.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Banking on the go? Our mobile app makes it effortless. But at Campus Federal, you're more than just an account number. We build relationships with our members, supporting you from saving for college to owning your first home. If you're buying a car, planning a home renovation, or a vacation, we're here to help. Campus Federal Credit Union, your trusted financial partner for every stage of life. Start your journey today.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday mornings at 6 on Talk 107.3.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email LockeMeredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Colin Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you'll likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personal.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tuesday show is brought to you by Daryl May of RE/MAX Partners, buying or selling a home in the Baton Rouge area. contact my guy, Daryl May. Also can help you with some property in Mississippi if that's something you're looking for. Hunting season's upon us. Daryl May can help you with that as well. Daryl May of RE/MAX Partners, licensed realtor in Louisiana and Mississippi. Let's go out to the jimsfirearms.net hotline. Glenn West, senior writer, Go 24/7 with us. Glenn, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right, Hunt. How about yourself?
I'm reading a lot of contracts. I'm reading a lot of lawsuits. I don't want to do that ever, and I'm doing a lot of that. So I'm not super awesome. What about you?
Yeah, I'm the same. I spent a good portion of the morning trying to sort out the latest of this saga, but I've also tried to realize that we've got football to play this weekend, and there's some attention that needs to be put on that as well.
Well, let's do that here because I've done enough on the lawsuit in the first segment of the show today. So your thoughts on the defense on Saturday evening in Tuscaloosa?
I thought they held up well. I mean, I think going into the game, I thought this was maybe a little bit of a better matchup for LSU, strictly because of the previous games that they had played against Vanderbilt and Texas A&M. You've had those mobile quarterbacks, and that's really been the Achilles heel of that defense for a couple of years now under Blake Baker. And for all the things that Ty Simpson is as a passer, you really didn't see him run a whole lot last weekend against the Tigers. And I think once they were able to bottle that up, they were able to consistently get off the field. They forced a couple turnovers. They did a really nice job of just bending but not breaking for the most part. And honestly, the one part that I thought that LSU would maybe have a little bit more of a advantage, and where I think they've struggled the most the last couple of weeks, has been in the secondary. They gave up so many of those intermediate plays over the middle of the field, but I thought they did a really nice job of shutting the run game down and really having the bounce back performance that you needed to just keep the offense in the game for as long as they could. And unfortunately, the offense just wasn't able to answer the bell, and first time all season they haven't scored a touchdown. I think that's been something that was coming if you had watched this offense perform the last 7-8 games. But I was pleased with the defense overall. I thought they had a nice bounce back performance. Let's
stick with the defense. We'll get to the offense here shortly. Why do you think they have such issues with the mobile quarterback?
Yeah, I think part of their whole structure is to get pressure in the backfield as much as possible. And when you're not filling your rush lane gaps in the right way, it just makes it so much easier for those slippery quarterbacks to find the lane and find the opportunity to go get some extra yards. And I think that's really what happened in those two games against Vanderbilt. Their run gap integrity was just not good. Guys were, I think, getting into the backfield. I mean, there were so many opportunities in that Vanderbilt game. I'm thinking just right off the top of my head where, guys like Jack Pyburn or Harold Perkins were in position to make a play, and those guys just at the last second were able to, dart away from them or make a quick move and get out of their reach and continue and extend plays in that way. And so I just think it's a fundamental thing that where they've really struggled to stop those running quarterbacks, because if you've got to be able to be precise on your rush lanes and getting those pressures on quarterbacks, and they haven't been able to do that as consistently as maybe you would have hoped to here in year two under Baker with some of those mobile quarterbacks. But they have talent. I think they have the kind of pass rushers that can create that havoc, but they just got to be able to finish those plays a little bit more consistently, because you're going to face another one of those guys this week in Taylor Green. Yeah, I was going to say, according to my sources, the quarterback at Arkansas runs a little bit. Do you expect to see it look different this week, or you expect, hey, they'll probably just kind of get gashed again because that's what happens when they play a mobile quarterback? Yeah, I mean, until you prove me wrong, I mean, I expect Taylor Green to be able to get extensive plays and get some open lanes and take advantage of that aspect of LSU's defense. That's something that Arkansas is game planning for here. They have a top 10 offense in so many different ways and so many ways that they can beat you. But it all starts with Taylor Green, and he has shown a really improved ability to be able to escape the pocket and make guys miss and continue drives. I mean, I believe I was looking at the stats. They're top 10 in most categories, but specifically third down conversions. I think they're right at 52% as an offense, which is top 10 in the country. That's when LSU has struggled defensively this year with those mobile quarterbacks. It's usually come on those third down plays. And so it's going to be really imperative for those guys to have a game plan for that. I would be surprised if Weeks is a part of that game plan. But certainly you're going to need a lot of these guys to step up and execute their game plan much better against Green on Saturday.
Let's say LSU plays 65 snaps on Saturday. How many of those does Garrett Nussmeier take?
I'm going to go 40.
That's a big split. I mean, that's a lot of Van Buren. You think you're going to see a lot of Van Buren on Saturday?
I do. I think they're going to go to Van Buren quite a bit. I think once you've opened that Pandora's box and just, the way that Frank Wilson has kind of talked about it this weekend, or this week, I should say, they're going to give Van Buren a legit shot. And I think it's the right move at this point in the season. I think you've got to give the guy who maybe could potentially be sticking around beyond this year some more opportunities, some more reps. I will say, if LSU is going to have success as an offense, it has to come this week because Arkansas's defense has not held an opponent under 30 points since September 13th, the second week of the season. And so they're going to give up some plays. You're going to have opportunities as an offense to move the ball. I firmly believe both of these quarterbacks can have success in this game, but I do think that they're going to make this much more of a two-quarterback system here over the final 3 games of the year.
What does that mean for Garrett Nussmeier? How do you interpret that for Nussmeier?
It's just so rough, man, because, Garrett's the guy that you want to be able to root for because he went through his first 3-4 years in the program the right way and really the way that you want to script it up. But I just think these last couple of games, the explosiveness has really, really diminished in this offense. You can tell it's getting to him a little bit, I think, mentally. I mean, he just does not look like a very confident quarterback right now, and you see all these check down throws that he's making, and I think there's just a lot that's going into this right now from a passing game perspective for him, and I just think it's in his best interest to go out there and try to put on some good film for whatever games and whatever snaps he has left as a Tiger, but it's just really unfortunate. This has been a pretty nightmarish season for him and for this offense, and one that I think even his biggest naysayers coming into the year probably couldn't have predicted, but it's the way that it's turned out. And I expect LSU to be doing whatever it can to win the game. And I do think that Van Buren's going to be a big part of that this weekend.
What do they do on the offensive line, specifically at right tackle?
I would still make some moves. I mean, I'm actually writing about this right now as we speak, but I would certainly give Ori Williams another shot at right tackle. I mean, I believe the PFF grades had him as a pretty serviceable pass blocker in that game in that second half against Alabama. Didn't do so hot in the run, but he's somebody that, this Arkansas defense has exactly one player on the defense that I think can hurt you, and he's an edge rusher. And so I think LSU is going to want to get the best pass blockers out there for this game, and I would certainly expect Ori Williams to play a little bit more at right tackle. I would expect Karius Kern to continue to play at left tackle, and we'll see what happens there in the middle. But I do expect some more change to be coming on the offensive line this weekend as well.
See anything last night from the basketball team that impressed you or that you thought was a question mark?
Nothing really stood out. I mean, I was very impressed, when shots weren't falling there in the first half, and, UNO kind of made it a little bit of a game there and cut it down to 6. I was very impressed with the poise that LSU showed when Deidon Thomas was not on the floor. He picked up a couple fouls and missed the last 6-7 minutes of the game of the first half, and then he had a little bit of a tweaked knee-to-knee bump with a player in the second half and missed 7 or 8 minutes of game time there as well. And LSU extended the lead when he went out the first time, and then they built on it even more when he went out in the second half as well. And I think that's going to be really important for this team because Deidon Thomas is going to be such a ball-dominant, ball-heavy playmaker for LSU when he's on the floor. They're going to need to find ways when he's off the floor to continue to make plays happen and things of that nature. So I thought that was a really positive sign for LSU that they, even though it was just for one game, that they could prove that they can make shots and have some decent offensive performance there when Thomas is off the floor.
He's Glenn West, senior writer at Go 24/7, basketball coverage, football coverage, legal coverage, baseball coverage, recruiting. They got you covered over there at Go 24/7. Thanks, Glenn.
All right, thanks, Glenn.
Speaking of that basketball game, I watched it last night. Had a story up at LouisianaSports.net. I'll give you some of my thoughts on it. We'll talk some Saints and LSU-Arkansas in hour number 2. Come back with us. The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com is that website. It's a great place to hang out, socialize, have some fun with the crew. They've got great private bays there at Swing Easy Golf Club that have comfortable seating, televisions, got the golf simulator there. You want to hit some balls on the range with your friends? Cool. You want to play around a golf? You can do that even when it's cold, raining, dark outside. You don't have to wait 5 hours in the heat to play golf like most of the year here. You just go to Swing Easy Golf Club and play 18 holes at Pebble Beach in an hour and 15 minutes. Play with 5 friends, play with 3 friends, hang out, watch football all day Saturday, watch football on Sunday. You can do it all at Swing Easy Golf Club. It's on Segan at Perkins, online at swingeasygcbr.com. That's Swing Easy Golf Club, swingeasygcbr.com.
When it comes to pipe fabrication, time is money. And at River Parish Contractors, we make every second count. Our 36,000 square foot shop is ready to take on your projects right now. With experienced welders, precise fittings, and fast turnarounds you can trust. Whether it's a single custom spool or a full-scale run, we have the capacity and the skill to keep your job on schedule. Call us or visit rpcontractors.com for your quote. That's rpcontractors.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Banking on the go? Our mobile app makes it effortless. But at Campus Federal, you're more than just an account number. We build relationships with our members, supporting you from saving for college to owning your first home. If you're buying a car, planning a home renovation, or a vacation, we're here to help. Campus Federal Credit Union, your trusted financial partner for every stage of life. Start your journey today.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Wrapping up hour number 1 here. We'll talk to Colin Jeter, LSU Alumni Association, and former Tiger tight end on the other side of SportsCenter. But first, LSU beats UNO last night, 93-51 in the PMAC. Tigers just way too big and physical for UNO. Privateer just had no answer for LSU's defense and rebounding. LSU won the battle on the glass 56-36, so 20 rebound advantage there. You look at UNO in the second half, and they just had no chance offensively. Shot 27% from the floor, just 3 of 15 from 3. it wasn't turnovers that gave UNO trouble, but they just couldn't get clean looks at the basket. LSU was just able to smother them defensively. So that's not a huge feather in LSU's cap. UNO is not very good, and LSU is just bigger and stronger and faster than UNO. But, some good things statistically from LSU. Michael Nwoku, who is the biggest and strongest player on LSU's team, was way too much on the block for UNO. Had 22 points. That's a career high for him. Grabbed 5 rebounds. I love the versatility that you saw from Marquel Sutton, who was the Summit League Player of the Year at Omaha last year. He comes in, and he's kind of playing the 3 for LSU. 15 points, including 4 of 8 from 3. And 15 rebounds in the game, had 11 defensive rebounds for LSU in 32 minutes of action. So I really liked that versatility from Sutton. He can go out there and knock down a shot if you get him a good look. He can also get down there on the glass and get you some rebounds, so that was very encouraging. Jalen Reed shot a high percentage, 6 of 10 from the floor. He scored 15 points. That was good. LSU absolutely dominated paint points in this game, which you would expect with a much bigger, more physical team. 42-28. That was a 14-point advantage in the paint. And then the assist-to-turnover ratio was great for LSU in this game, and that is something that I wanted to look at because LSU turned the ball over 15 times in their opener against Tarleton State. You got to clean that up, and LSU in this game only had 7 turnovers to go along with 21 assists on 31 makes. That's quality work, and especially from your 2-point guards, De'Don Thomas and Jalen Reese. Those two combined for 12 assists and just 1 turnover. Another 8-assist game from De'Don Thomas. That's 16 assists in 2 games. He's really found a great rhythm working off the high pick and roll, throwing the ball in the lobs to Mike Nwoku for alley-oops that were very, very effective. And just creating for his team. I really liked what Thomas did. I'm okay with the fact that Thomas was 2 for 7 from the floor, and Jalen Reese was 0 of 5 from the floor. But if you get those guys 12 assists, 1 turnover, that's quality work from your point guard position for sure. Ron Zipper is not a factor on this team, and that's a little surprising to me. He has just played in the last 2 minutes of the last 2 games. I kind of thought when he came over that he would be a starter on this team, and it's obvious that he's like 12th on the depth chart right now. And so it's just one of those things in a bygone era when you had a program that was bringing guys in, developing guys, and moving them through the program from freshman through senior year. You could kind of tell every August like what the roles were going to be for everybody. When you bring in 10 new dudes, and then some of them are from Omaha, and some of them are from Mississippi State, and some of them are from Israel, and some of them are from community college, and some of them are freshmen, like, you can't know as a fan who's not at practice and hadn't played any games and not at scrimmages. You can't just look at the screen on the internet and look at the roster and go, oh, well, that's got to be the starter there and he's going to be the starter. Like, you can guess, but I would have thought Ron Zimmer was probably the starting 2 guard on this team. He may not play at all. Like, that's what it looks like right now. And Max McKinnon, who is the starting 2 guard on this team, had a huge game. In the first game LSU played, was 6 of 7, knocked down a couple of early threes, was LSU's leading scorer in the game. He played 19 minutes last night and scored 2 points, both from the free throw line. Like, he missed all 5 of his field goals, 2 of them are from 3, but LSU picked up that slack. Again, for the 413th time here, like, we're not going to learn anything positive about LSU between now and Christmas. Like, everything they do from now to Christmas on the positive side has to be taken with a grain of salt because we watched them last year play well enough in the non-conference to beat Florida State and beat Kansas State and not stub their toe against the little guys. And you lost a couple of games. You couldn't beat Pitt and like whatever. But it was a fine non-conference. And then you got in the SEC and you were completely outclassed. So hopefully the SEC takes a small step back and then LSU takes a step forward. But I'm not going to gather that they've taken a step forward because they beat UNO 93-58. Like, that's not the step forward I'm looking for. It could be, but I'm not going to take it for anything more than just beating a bad team. And that's the same thing with Tarleton State. It'll be the same thing with Florida International. I mean, it's a bad non-conference schedule early on. And so every time they go out there and play like this, I will tell you, like, I liked that. I don't care because it's against a bad team. What happens and works against UNO doesn't work against Ole Miss necessarily. What works against Tarleton State is not your lunch ticket against Kentucky. you got to continue to get better. You got to stay healthy. And there are some things each and every game that I'll look at. In this one, I like to assist a turnover. I like the fact that Thomas was distributing, and I thought that you saw some good versatility from Marquell Sutton. But I'm not here to throw a party when you beat a second team in a row by 30 points that shouldn't be on the same floor with you. So that's where I am. Not to be like dismissive, but it's just where we are. The SEC is a really good basketball league, and these teams LSU are playing, not good. So LSU wins 93-58. Back in action, Florida International Thursday at the PMAC at 7 o'clock. We'll talk about that one on Thursday's show. That's it for hour number one. Open the show with the new legal proceedings with Brian Kelly and LSU. Laid out kind of what we know, what I don't know, how I feel about what LSU looks like in this situation. That's the top of the show. You can find it at Hunt on LSU. Also talked a little about the series for the Golden Boot, LSU and Arkansas, and our discussion with Glenn West about the Tigers offensively and defensively. All that, Hunt on LSU. We'll have some Saints discussion coming up in 35 minutes with Sharif Ishak of WDSU. You can find all of our Saints content at Hunt on Saints. Certainly LouisianaSports.net has got all of that covered, including a new story from me and Matt on this Brian Kelly lawsuit. We will step aside for national headlines at SportsCenter. When we come back, Colin Jeter from the LSU Alumni Association on this Tuesday show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is the website. Jonathan Carver and his team are just first class. I've spent 7 years in insurance. I know that there are good agencies. I know that there are not so good agencies. I can promise you the Highland Insurance Group is awesome. They have an incredibly experienced team that has amazing technical knowledge. And that's not the most interesting thing for everybody, but if you're a business owner, you want your broker to speak the language of insurance and to make sure that your company is taken care of. The Highland Insurance Group will do that. They will audit your policy for free. It doesn't cost you anything. They will tell you what they find. If there are significant issues that need to be rectified immediately, they will take that and do it. If they think everything was on the up and up, leave you right there. But it doesn't cost you anything to let them look. And they have the expertise to know whether or not your program is in the right place. So if you're a business owner, CFO, risk manager, looking for a second set of eyes on your insurance program, Highland Insurance Group. Find them online, HighlandIG.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, We've only got one. You. Auctioneer Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Mavericks fans who've been chanting "Fire Nico" have gotten their wish. Dallas Fire General Manager Nico Harrison today, he'd had a tumultuous last 9 months after his shocking trade of Luka Doncic to the Lakers for the oft-injured Anthony Davis, as well as a 3-8 start to this NBA season. Assistant GMs Michael Finley, Matt Riccardi will lead Dallas's basketball operations department on an interim basis, and one likely name the team will target for its next GM is a familiar one, notes ESPN NBA insider Shams Charania.
Dennis Lindsey is a current executive in Detroit, formerly the head executive of the Utah Jazz, and he also was an advisor for the Mavericks during the 2023-2024 NBA Finals run season.
Former NBA All-Star Michael Ray Richardson, once banned from the league for drug use, died today after a short battle with prostate cancer. He was 70 years old. 76ers center Joel Embiid, right knee soreness, out tonight against the Celtics. NFL Steelers coach Mike Tomlin says he's got no long-term reservations about Aaron Rodgers' ability to play quarterback at a high level, despite Sunday's poor performance in the loss to the Chargers.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Wednesday, I'll tell you why Kevin Stefanski, still rolling with Dylan Gabriel, isn't the right move for the Browns' future. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane's studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Tuesday shows brought to you by Daryl May, RE/MAX Partners, buying or selling a home in Louisiana or Mississippi. Daryl May from RE/MAX Partners needs to be your first call. We always kick off our second hour on Tuesdays with Colin Jeter, former LSU tight end, now with the LSU Alumni Association. He's with us in studio now. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. The Saints got a win this weekend.
That is correct. Would you like to talk about that?
Oh, man, I'd love to.
It was good defense. LSU played good defense, too, and Saints played good defense, but the Saints scored 17 points, and LSU didn't score a touchdown.
That is true. That was probably the difference.
Let's talk about LSU in Tuscaloosa. Let's start with the good. I mean, the defense did its job, held them to 20, got a couple of turnovers. I mean, couldn't have asked for much more defensively.
Yeah, I agree. I think the defense the past couple of weeks has struggled points-wise, but, we finally, we got to come in, made some plays, made them make mistakes. I think defense got on back on track this week.
How much of it is the running quarterback? That's the narrative with everybody. Like, that's what LSU can't handle. Simpson doesn't run a lot, so that's why they did a good job there. Like, do you buy that that's the biggest issue?
Hunt, we've talked about this week to week. I do think that is a big X factor. When you have a dynamic quarterback that basically changes the defense from a one-man advantage going 11 versus 10 to a full 11 versus 11, it can make a big difference. So,
we watched this is a long time ago, but we watched John Chavis against Johnny Manziel essentially take Sam Montgomery, Kiki Mingo, like really good pass rushers, Benny Logan, Michael Brockers, say, hey guys, just stand there. Like, don't rush Johnny Manziel, just stand there. Like, we'll cover. We got Daryl Simon back there, and we got Eric Reed back there, and we got Jalen Mills back there. Like, just they'll handle it. Just don't let him run. And we watched him do that for 2 years. Is that a reasonable strategy against Taylor Green this week to be like, hey, just don't go get him. Let the guys cover. They cover well. Woodland covers well. Delane covers well. Pickett covers well. Let those guys just run, and we'll deal with when Taylor Green decides to run.
I think so. I think you also named a lot of big-time former players. But, yes, I think with a quarterback like Taylor Green, it's a classic, let's contain him. You keep the rush upfield, keep him in the pocket. You really don't want to crash down and let him create a lane on the outside. So, yes, I would say whether it's a spy or just using contain lanes on the rush, to keep him within the pocket, that's going to be your recipe for success.
Because, like, the spy's not working. Like, Perk, it just kind of sometimes his eyes are in a bad spot. Sometimes it's just in – it's interesting because in his first 2 years, like, he was the spy. Against Arkansas, they had a track guy back there playing quarterback, and Perkins took that game over. He spied Bryce Young and dominated him, but it just hasn't translated to this year.
Yeah, I don't know what the difference is with him because, like you said, his freshman year, I mean, he almost single-handedly beat Arkansas.
Yeah.
Between the fumble recoveries, sacks, everything else. I don't know if it's the position change, if he's moving more in the backfield and it's creating more space in between as opposed to just rushing the passer. But it definitely has seemed to be a difference in play.
We'll see. LSU defense got their hands full in this game with an Arkansas offense that's as potent as any in the Southeastern Conference at this point. Flip side of the ball, Arkansas's defense really not good, which is good because LSU's offense has really not been very good. What did you see in Tuscaloosa?
You know, I thought, and you hate to see it, but I did think Van Buren came in and gave it at least a little bit of a spark. I think we made some mistakes on the back end, whether that's through penalties. I've never seen a quarterback slide get reviewed that instantaneously, but that it is what it is when you play in Tuscaloosa. But I think he came in and kind of added some dynamic aspect to our offense. Again, we didn't make the plays it took to win. I don't know. I saw Frank plans on playing both. I kind of like the idea of mixing it up and getting two guys in there and kind of just bringing a different edge. But it's going to take that. Look, our line, they've struggled all year. Obviously, you hope they improve every week, but it seems to be a recurring issue. I'm hoping they can pick up and play well enough to score some points against Arkansas because that's what it's going to take. They can score points.
Right. My buddy texts me, and they're like, hey, like, why don't we throw it down the field? Why does everything feel like a screen? And I was like, well, I agree. Like, I would like the ball to get down the field, but I don't know that the coaching staff has confidence they can sit back there and protect long enough for a receiver to run an 18-yard over route. Like, I don't know if they think they can do that or not.
I agree. And I think sometimes you scheme those plays up and you have seam balls or deep digs or things like that where the play is open, but you got to keep in mind, I mean, when you've got guys rushing constantly and you kind of got a lot of pressure in the backfield, your feet start to get hot, and maybe your progressions get a little faster than they should be, and you're not really having time for plays to develop. So it's more than just getting guys open and protecting. It's the aspect of, sometimes the quarterback just mentally, that clock starts rolling, and then the whole time it can get off offensively.
It can, certainly is for LSU in this game. Where do you think the mental I ask you this most weeks, but like every week's different. You have a situation where, okay, you've lost a game. Okay, now your coach has been fired. Okay, now you've got a fourth loss on the season. Okay, now you got a morning kickoff at 11:45 against a winless SEC Arkansas team. Like your quarterback got benched last week. Like, where do you think they are?
You got to play for the guys in the room. I mean, at this point, like you said, most of what, when you started the season, what you were playing for has gone out the window. I mean, the playoffs, I would imagine, out of the picture unless something really crazy happened. Things just haven't really gone the way we'd expected to this year. But you got to rally with the guys in the locker room. Look, at the end of the day, those are the guys you go to battle with every day, the guys you meet with, work out with, practice with, everything else, the guys you've been there for 2, 3, 4 years with. Rally with each other. Finish the season strong. Do what it takes to win games on the back end. Maybe you get opportunity at the next level if you're a junior or senior looking to move on. And if you're a young guy, you're looking to create and build momentum for the next season. So you really have to play for the guys in the building, play for Coach Wilson. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of turnover after the season, I'd imagine. I don't really know what to expect. But I think for now, look, it's you against the world. Lean on each other, lean on your brothers, and let's finish strong.
That sounds good, and I agree. Do you think they'll buy into that?
I hope so.
It's impossible to know. Like, it's an impossible question. But at this point, that has to be worth asking because it's just it's not a situation you would have thought to find yourself in. You don't have to ask those questions right now in Tuscaloosa or College Station or Athens or Oxford or any of those places. But some other ones, Gainesville, Baton Rouge, Auburn, like you want to expand outside the conference, Penn State, Florida State. Like it's just that's the nature of this sport that your goals can come right off the table pretty quickly if you're at one of those premier programs, and that's where LSU is. And I just don't they said all the right things last week, and I'm curious to get in tonight for player interviews and see what they have to say. They'll probably say the right things. It's what they're trained to do. But, like, maybe your actions speak louder than your words. And to be clear, I thought they played hard last weekend.
Yeah, I agree. And it's just, look, they got to make a decision. You can either tuck your tail or you can dig your feet in and you can fight. And we're going to find out what this LSU team's all about in these last 3 weeks of the season. We can finish strong, send the guys out the right way, get prepared for the next season. Or we can tuck our tail, pack up our bags, and head home. So I don't think this Tiger DNA is about that. I think they're going to finish strong. And I just hope to see them perform the way that they're capable of.
You think they care about the golden boot?
The Golden Boot, it is what it is. I think it's more about winning the game. The trophy, whatever. We'll move on. I'd rather just get the butt whipping during the game.
Do you know how much the trophy weighs?
I know it's heavy.
I looked it up today.
I know it's heavy. I know there's other trophies that seem to be more important, but if the team up north wants to worry about a season trophy, they're more than happy to.
Guess how much it weighs?
Let's say 600 pounds.
Ah, it's not 600.
That'd
be really tough to. I mean, look, the football players are strong. They might be able. It's 200 pounds.
Oh yeah.
Of
there you
gold.
go.
So like that wasn't a big emphasis for y'all to run over and grab the boot.
It was. Trust me, it's always cool, but it's more about just running on their sideline. You're getting up in their face. You're grabbing what's yours. The trophy itself, whatever.
Did you sense that Arkansas wanted this one worse than LSU? That's the sense I get from the fan base, which kind of annoys me, but it's what it feels like.
I feel like, and look, we take every game, week at a time, but I feel like we have higher aspirations down here than Arkansas does.
I said that earlier in the show. Like that's the feeling LSU fans have toward Arkansas, and I feel like because I remember writing about this when I was covering LSU in like 2011, 12, 13, 14, because there was a span there. Starting in like 06, where LSU and Arkansas split 5-5 from 6 to 17, 6 to 15. And now LSU's won 8 of 9, so it's like, okay. But like, there was a time there it was like, quit saying you're too cool to play against Arkansas. You're losing half the time to Arkansas. But now LSU's not. So I guess I don't have quite a leg to stand on to complain to everybody.
I agree. And look, the boot itself, are we not just the boot here in Louisiana? Kind of feels like Arkansas is the shin, or maybe the knee high.
If I had any sort of ability to recall or name women's shoes, what's a shorter version of a boot?
I have no idea.
I don't either. But there's got to be something, and it's got to, and that would be like what if you get like the full knee high boot when you throw Arkansas onto the top of it.
That's right.
But it's. I mean, we know what the deal is. It's like Arkansas came into the league in '92, and they're like, okay, we got to find rivals for these people. Okay, well, LSU. Well, look, Mississippi State and Ole Miss, you got each other. Well, Auburn, Alabama, you got each other, and we all know Florida's playing Florida State, and Georgia's playing Georgia Tech, and Tennessee's playing Vanderbilt, and you start pairing everybody off, and then you look up, and Tennessee's playing Kentucky, and you're like, oh, LSU and Arkansas, y'all are in, go get them, and like South Carolina's got Clemson, so you got that game at the end of the season, and so the stakes are always pretty high, and so you created some great games and big memories, but it was pretty manufactured because all of Arkansas's rivals were in Texas.
Agreed. And we talked about at the beginning of the season, I think our big rival is Florida. But that's a whole other topic.
Yeah, I mean, and look, Florida would say, well, you're like 5th on our list. Because they got Florida State, you got Georgia, you got Tennessee, you got Miami. That's just where LSU sits. It's just because it was Tulane forever and ever, and then it wasn't, and the 60s happened, and they were gone. But LSU's got a bunch of people that care about, because I was talking to a Bama fan last week, and they're like, yeah, I mean, I think for us, like, true hatred for Auburn, true hatred for Tennessee, like more of like respect for LSU, like that's going to be a big game. And that's kind of where you are in that hierarchy.
Agreed. I feel we felt the same way about Bama. Obviously a big game for us, but it was more of a respect thing as opposed to Florida, Ole Miss. Those are the kind of teams we hate.
What's going on with the Alumni Association?
Man, all's good. I got my alumni quarter zip on today. Weather dipped down, but man, we've got a great event next week. Next Thursday night, it's our business networking event. We're doing it on a quarterly basis. Look, if you're in the business world and you want to connect with other Tigers in the area, or really across the country, it's a great opportunity to get in, meet some people, build some connections. But yeah, we're going to do that Thursday night. It's going to be actually at a model home for DSLD. They're nice. One of our gold members, one of our top members, and we're allowing them to kind of host an event. Of course, we pay for it, but we'd love to show off their operations and their facilities and everything else, so we're hosting one over there. Should be a good time.
Awesome. Thursday night, DSLD. Next week for the Alumni Association. We'll talk about it further when you come in next week. Do the Tigers get it done against Arkansas on Saturday?
Yes, they get it done, Hunt. We always root for the Tigers.
That's correct. I'm going to root for the Tigers. I hope they get it done. Pick to come on Friday. We'll see. He's Colin Jeter, former Tiger tight end with the LSU Alumni Association, with us on Tuesdays. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll come back, talk some more LSU-Arkansas next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. Every car that's on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. Looking to get into a rental? They got you covered at Genesis of Baton Rouge. They can make sure that when you travel for Thanksgiving, you travel for Christmas, you're not putting those miles on your vehicle. Plus, you're getting to see what Genesis has to offer. It's a luxury brand at a reasonable price. That's the model at Genesis. Go by and see them. They're Airline at Pico. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, you're probably on Airline anyway. Just make that stop on by. Tell them the Hunt Palmer Show sent you in. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. One, with that customer service, and two, certainly with the line of vehicles. If you want to get into a rental for the holiday season, you can do it over at Genesis of Baton Rouge. Find them Airline at Pico or online at genesisofbatonrouge.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to Dreamful.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tuesday shows brought to you by Daryl May of Remax Partners, buying or selling a home in Baton Rouge. Check out my guy Daryl May at Remax Partners. Been a great partner of ours here over the course of the last year. You can reach him at darylmayproperties.com or reach out to Daryl. I'll give you his number every single week. So if you're in the market to buy or sell a home, you want someone that's got more than 20 years experience building homes and a lifetime of experience here in the Baton Rouge area, Daryl May's got the entire package. You can find him at 225-268-6915. Again, 225-268-6915. Daryl May of Remax Partners brings you our Tuesday shows. All right, yesterday I gave you kind of my thoughts on the quarterback situation. I told you, and I said this on the post-game show right after the game, like, I think Michael Van Buren needs to play moving forward. I think Garrett Nussmeier will play some, but I feel like there needs to be a shakeup in how the offense functions because this is broken. You're not functioning on offense. You're the worst rushing offense in the league. You cannot crack 24 points in a league game. Like, something's got to change. And you might have thought, hey, okay, new play caller, new thoughts on the offensive line, week off, like this, healthy Aaron Anderson, like they'll find something. And they didn't. So something's got to change. And you've got to make a look at Michael Van Buren. But my opinion doesn't matter. It's Frank Wilson's opinion that matter. And he talked yesterday about how the reps should be divvied up.
You know, I thought Garrett did well enough at times to still be in position to be the starter as we start and embark upon this week. And so when we go to corrections today and practice tomorrow, he'll be the first guy that goes in.
So he'll be the first guy that goes in. But last week, if you'll remember, Frank Wilson, Garrett is our quarterback. Garrett is our quarterback. We'll do what it takes to win the game. Garrett is our quarterback. And you hear now a little bit less of a commitment. And that makes a lot of sense. So we fully expect that Garrett Nussmeier will be the starting quarterback on Saturday. But how much is Michael Van Buren going to be used? We asked Glenn West in the first hour. He thought about a third of the time. I think that's probably a little bit heavy, but I'd like to see Michael Van Buren play. We'll see if it's series to series, quarter to quarter. If you don't score a touchdown in the first 2 drives, you go to Van Buren for a drive. If that results in 3 points or 7 points, maybe you stick with him, and we'll see what they decide to do. But the door is very much open, obviously, now for Michael Van Buren to step in and get some reps. Just how many, we can't know. Now, Michael Cobble from WBRZ asked Frank Wilson, is there a benefit to going to a different quarterback mid-series?
We're not out on anything. Again, I think if you look at body of work and you isolate it, that's good. That was good. We missed that. We got to be able to get that. And they're both imperfect in that sense. They both brought something to the table that helped this team to go up and down the field. They both have things that they need to continue to work on as well. And so I don't think it's just a clear separation where one is beyond the other, that we'll need both of them. And I think I know we'll use both of them in this game.
So that's a more specific answer. We'll use both of them in this game. I think when he says that nobody was clearly the guy, I think that's fair. I also would suggest that clearly with Garrett Nussmeier out there, you're struggling to score. You move the ball at times, you're struggling to score, struggling in the red zone, struggling to run the ball. And then you look at, with Michael Van Buren, it wasn't great. It wasn't a symphony offensively in Tuscaloosa. You only scored 3 points, and they were kind of gift-wrapped by Harold Perkins on the strip sack. But you did see some things that you know you're not going to get from Nussmeier. The third down run, the dynamic playmaking ability to extend plays and to get up the field and convert those third downs on your feet. Now, you take a step back throwing the ball. Like I told you yesterday, Van Buren was not the most accurate passer on Saturday. But you now are realizing that you don't have a perfect option. And that's what Frank Wilson said. They're both imperfect. You don't have a guy that can run and be accurate throwing it consistently. Garrett Nussmeier can be accurate throwing it. He's not going to run. Michael Van Buren can run. The accuracy, maybe not there. So, yeah, I think that you're going to see both of them, but I would suggest you need to see a significant amount of Van Buren. And then the question was asked, Frank, what does that mobile aspect give your offense?
It makes them account for him, and that you have to keep integrity of your rush lanes as a defensive line in pursuit. I think it makes you have another defender account for him if he does get through the first level, if you will, because if not, then it becomes a tremendous gain, a huge gain, opposed to that person being in coverage. And so I think there's tremendous validity into having a guy that can extend plays with his legs, or even have direct quarterback design runs that they have to account for.
Here's what I think. I think entering the Bama game, you gave Garrett the reps. He's the starting quarterback. He's going to be the guy. Van Buren gets some second-team reps. He kind of knows what his role is, but that's the deal. Now you've opened Pandora's box toward the opportunity for Van Buren to play. That Band-Aid got ripped off in the second half. We'll go to him. So now I think the approach in practice this week for this game on Saturday starts to be, okay, we have plans for both quarterbacks to play. Not we're willing to put one guy in. It's going to happen. So the game plan now for LSU in practice involves reps for Garrett Nussmeier with the ones and reps for Michael Van Buren with ones. I think that is now a shift in mentality with this offense. That's not, if we need to, we can do that. It's, here's how we're entering the game. And to be clear, like, Arkansas hasn't stopped anybody, whether it's a mobile quarterback or whether it's a guy that's slinging it. Arkansas hasn't stopped anybody. It's a defense that is as bad as anybody in the country, certainly as bad as anybody in the SEC. When your offense is in the top 15 nationally in like almost every category, and you can't win a league game, you know how compromised that defense is. It's really bad. You look at their schedule, you look at the quarterbacks they've faced, and none of it is good. Like, they faced Ole Miss with Trinidad Chambliss. They gave up 41. They faced Notre Dame, C.J. Carr, a good athlete, but more of a thrower. They gave up 56. They played Tennessee with Joey Aguilar. He wants to throw the ball. They gave up 34. They played Texas A&M, Marcel Reed. He can run and throw, and gave up 45 points. You played Auburn. You did a pretty good job against Jackson Arnold for a half. Auburn goes to the backup quarterback. You get lit up for a ton of points in the second half and lose 33. And then you play Mississippi State. You face mostly Blake Shapen. He's more of a thrower. You gave up 38 points. So, like, they've faced mobile guys, they've faced pocket passers, they've faced whoever, and everybody has massive success. It would stand to reason that LSU could find some things on offense. But I believe, with that in mind, they're going to take a look at both quarterbacks and get both quarterbacks involved early on. I don't think it requires a Garrett Nussmeier failure to get him into the game. Now, you don't have to force it. If Nussmeier leads a 75-yard touchdown drive on the first drive of the game, and then your defense gets a turnover at the 40, and you put Nussmeier back in, and he hits a big play for a touchdown, I don't say, hey, all right, get in there, Van Buren. It's your turn. But if things go the way that they've gone, which is LSU not scoring a lot of points early or not scoring a lot of points late, like, mixing Van Buren in doesn't mean he has to be the guy the rest of the game. Like, when they went to Van Buren on Saturday, it was his game. I don't think it has to be that this time around. Could be if Nussmeier plays really poorly, the offense is sputtering, and then Van Buren gets the ball and goes down and gets points. Like, it could be a permanent thing, but you can have a plan to go to both of them in this game and not feel like once you take Garrett out, he can't go back in. Based on the way I saw Garrett handle himself on the sideline after Van Buren went in last week, cheering on his team, staying engaged, fist pumping, signaling catch on the sideline, like, he was into it. Now, he was emotional at the end. Yes, I got it. And I know that some people are going to take that and run with it because you're out on Garrett. But I think that Garrett can handle giving some snaps to Michael Van Buren in this game. I think he can handle giving some snaps to Juwan Johnson in some sort of role doing that as well. At this point, the sample size is so large that nobody can fight back too hard on this. You got to use both quarterbacks. And I think they will on Saturday, and I think they'll prepare that way as opposed to have that as a contingency in the plans for the game. So that's a look at LSU's quarterback situation. If you'd like to, you can read a little bit about that at LouisianaSports.net. We've also got a story up right now about the Brian Kelly lawsuit that was filed last night, that was reported on by ESPN yesterday evening, and that we've got two stories up for free on LouisianaSports.net about right now. It talks about the negotiations, who offered what was turned down. It also details LSU's decision to fire Brian Kelly for cause, suggesting that Scott Woodward didn't have the authority to fire Brian Kelly when he did on that Sunday, October the 26th. So if you want to read more about that, you can find it at LouisianaSports.net. We'll step aside. When we come back, Sharif Ishak talking Saints next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
When it comes to pipe fabrication, time is money. And at River Parish Contractors, we make every second count. Our 36,000 square foot shop is ready to take on your projects right now. With experienced welders, precise fittings, and fast turnarounds you can trust. Whether it's a single custom spool or a full-scale run, we have the capacity and the skill to keep your job on schedule. Call us or visit rpcontractors.com for your quote. That's rpcontractors.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers along with traffic.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Hope y'all's work week is off to a good start. Chilly start to the week. That kind of fades away tomorrow. Highs creeping up around 80 for the next 3 days. That's okay with me. Well, chilly. I had to go with the full beanie, full long sleeves, and hoodie to run this morning. 31 when I left the house. That's not what we're looking for. Just not.
Too cold, man. I hate it.
Not what we're looking for. Tough to get out of bed for the old 31-degree run. But I don't have to do it after work, so we like that. Talk Sharif Ishak, WDSU down in New Orleans. Gives us time to be the Jim's Firearms Hotline on Tuesday. Sharif, how are you, sir?
Cold, man. I hate this cold weather, man. Give me the 80s.
It's coming tomorrow and the next day and the next day after that. The next 3 days, highs in the 80 degrees. So it's not it felt like fall for a minute there, but we'll get back to warm weather here for the next three. Speaking of hot, Saints got a win in Charlotte. Listen to that tease. Listen to that segue. Look at that team. What'd you see on Sunday?
Hey, look, Hunt, it's the first time all season and actually first time in a very long time that they played complimentary football. I probably think the Cleveland Browns game might have been the last time they did that, and I truly think this is one of the better performances from a quarterback since Drew Brees retired. And I think that Tyler Shough looks sharp. Shough got out there and climbed the pocket a few times, made good decisions, didn't really panic, very decisive, and hit the target. And that's exactly what you want to see from a guy you drafted in the second round, and you just hope he can build on that. And I saw a lot of that. I mean, we could talk about a lot of good things when it comes to this game. So, but Shough is the top priority when we're talking about the Saints moving forward.
What was a play or two that was your favorite in the game?
There was I'm trying to think if it was the second or third quarter. Where there was one time when he climbed the pocket under pressure and hit Chris Olave, not the one-handed catch. But I think it was before the one-handed catch. He climbed and he hit Olave, and I thought he was going to get sacked, but it was a really good job. And even on the first drive, when he evaded the pass rush and hit Juwan Johnson, and Juwan went for like 53 yards, and that was really good. And look, we could talk about the touchdown passes. I love the air yards, the one to Chris Olave, but I think the ones that are best is when he's just playing with two starting offensive linemen. When he's able to get out of the rush. He's able to climb pockets, evade pass rush, and throw the ball on the run. Those are the more impressive throws to me than those 2 touchdowns, because that just shows you that, Kellen Moore and the coaching staff are doing a good job of teaching these quarterbacks how to play under pressure in the pocket and outside the pocket. So that's one very big positive sign when it comes to, Tyler Shough and the way he played in that game Sunday.
All right, let me play a little bit of devil's advocate here. You're aware that I'm doing so. How much of the complimentary, how much of our complimenting Shough and suggesting how well he played has to do with the fact that the defense only allowed 7 points and they won? Like, what if they'd have lost 34-17 and he'd have played the exact same game?
I still think I would say he played well. Okay. I mean, then I would have said just let him down. But that's why I said it's a complimentary game, the first one in a very long time. When everyone plays complimentary, it makes everyone look good. Yeah. The defense played its best game. I think I would count the Giants game because of the 5 turnovers. I felt like, at least Carolina came in 5-4. You're talking about Rico Dowdle, who was the best running back since week 5 of the NFL, held him to 52, 53 yards. Had that one drive where Justin Reed had that roughing the passer call that gave him the touchdown. Other than that, the defense was awesome. I mean, they went after Bryce Young the entire game. They smothered him, and they smothered Rico Dowdle the entire game. So I think the Tyler Shough thing would have been still the same for me. That is the number one priority, is to see him progress. And they got to win. Just so happens they got to win. Now, people are going to say, well, it's the Panthers. They're not good. Well, that you're just slighting the Saints. If they would have lost, you would have probably said, well, they're terrible. They lost to a bad Carolina team. They won, so you can't be mad about that. You got a double dose of progression from your young players and Shough, and you got a win. So there you go, team. You got a team win for the Saints.
I've seen a lot of tying wins to Shough's performance, and ultimately that will be what matters. I struggle with that this year, suggesting that the wins and losses are significant. Now, Ross Jackson, our guy at LouisianaSports.net, he sees it a different way. It's like you need to lead the team to wins. That's your job. And I fully understand that, but I'm more so looking for the process by which you get there. And if, hey, the running game or the defense isn't very good, but Shough plays okay and you lose, that's okay too. Where are you on the development of Shough as opposed to just purely what the wins and losses say while he's the starter?
Everyone's going to look at it differently.
Yeah.
Ross will look at it as leading to wins. I look at where Ross is thinking next year. This year, I'm on the train that you're on of progression and, getting better and developing and making the guys around you play much better, even if you lose. It's so hard because next time he plays, he could have a bad game or a semi-decent game and they lose the game. You're like, oh, okay, so he's back down to earth. You just don't want to see a lot of that moving forward with the final 7 games. You want to see that steady progression. You want to see him continue making those steps and becoming a better quarterback and showing if he can be a franchise quarterback. He's going to have some bad throws. He's going to make some bad decisions. He's going to have turnovers. It's just natural in this state, in the game of football, especially for a rookie. Those things are going to happen. But it's, can you overcome them, and can you kind of avoid letting that happen a bunch of times?
Where are you on Chris Olave right now? There's been a lot of mixed emotions about him the last month.
I like what he did in that game. Look, it was the first game back in that stadium for him after getting that nasty concussion last year, which was almost a year ago that it happened, and he played his best game of the season. Probably his best game in quite some time, too. I mean, he was making catches over the middle, making one-handed catches on third down to bail the offense out to get him a first down, the 62-yard touchdown. That is the Chris Olave we need to see. That is the Chris Olave we need to see. That is, if you're going to pay Chris Olave, that's the Chris that he needs to show up every Sunday. Obviously, it's not realistic for him to have, 105 yards a game, but if he had 6 or 7 catches for 75, 80 yards a game and gets a touchdown, that's a good-looking receiver for me. That's a good-looking receiver for the Black and Gold. So I'm up and down with him. I understand the frustration with the fans, and they want him to be the number one, but if you get something like this every week, close to it, I feel fine with it. I mean, they do need a legit number one threat for that offense at some point in time. He needs to have more playmakers to throw to. That would be my answer.
Let's go to roster management. How much of your focus is on the NFL draft right now? Is there any? Is there a significant amount?
Oh, absolutely. They went from 5 picks to 7 picks. If Sharif Ishak was the GM of the New Orleans Saints, and I ended up with the number 5 or 7, between 5 and 8, I'm going to try to move back this year, Hunt. I'm not really interested in drafting a quarterback this year.
You sure?
Even if like it goes to 4-13 or 3-14. I feel like the schedule's so easy, man. The rest of the way, they're probably going to win 4 or 5 games total for the year. I don't know if I want a quarterback this year. This quarterback class is awful. I mean, I being honest with you, I don't even know how good Fernando Mendoza is going to be. I don't know how good Dante Moore is going to be. And then there's a rest. I mean, I don't know if I want to take that chance this year. I would dangle that carrot in front of the team to come up there and come get one of those guys and let me go ahead and move back in the draft. Let me collect some picks because the team needs players, desperately needs young players, playmakers, skill position players on both sides of the ball after this year. And they need to do that, and they need to hit on a big way. Because if this class hits, because you already have some decent production from Quincy Riley, Jonas Sanker, and Danny Stuckman is starting to play a lot. We'll see what else will happen with Devin Neal and Tyler Shough. Then it looks good. You hit again next year, and you get more picks. If you move back, like I say, you're setting yourself up for a good little run because they're going to free up a lot of money after next year. So, just saying, that's what I would do.
Are you aware that the general manager of the team said that trading back means you're getting a worse player?
He says that all the time. I disagree with that logic. Look what the Philadelphia Eagles do. I mean, they haven't just been the most successful team in the last 7 or 8 years in the NFL by doing exactly that. And they got the Saints a few years ago in order for them to draft Olave and Penning by giving up their pick and moving back. So I think they did just fine. I think the Saints at some point in time need to think about that and stop moving up and start moving back to collecting picks because this team is going to start losing veteran players. They need to fill the cupboard up with some good young talent in the draft. So this year would be a good way to do it, and next year's draft as well after next season. So and then they free up a lot of money.
Saints coverage, you can find it Hunt on Saints here. Of course, LouisianaSports.net as well. Sharif's with us on Tuesdays. One thought on the Pell. Willie Green going to still be employed when you talk to me next Tuesday?
At this pace, probably not. We've had 4 losses in the last 8 days, about 20-plus points, 32, 34, 21, and 23. The 2 wins were against teams that were decimated by injuries. I feel like their best players were hurt. It's not looking good, Hunt. And the only thing that looks good to me are Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen. And that's, I guess, a good sign.
Trey Murphy had a good game.
Yeah, he had a good game, but I think he would tell you he needs to play much better. He got off to a very slow start, some turnovers, missed layups. He was awesome the other night against the Spurs, tied a career high for 41 points. They fought back in that game. But at some point in time, fighting back or just allowing the team to get run off the court isn't good enough. And if it happens on this homestand way too many times, it's probably going to be James Borrego time.
We shall see. We'll talk Sharif Ishak next Tuesday about it. Thank you, sir.
Anytime, Hunt. See you next Tuesday.
Sharif Ishak, WDSE down in New Orleans. Tuesday show is brought to you by Daryl May Remax Partners. Come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge, genesisofbatonrouge.com. Get on by and see him. Airline at PQ. You can find America's best warranty. Talking about a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. How about that 5-year, 60,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty? It's industry-leading. Enhanced 24/7 roadside assistance. That's 5 years, unlimited miles. Wherever you are, 24/7, they got you covered roadside. And, of course, always tell you about that complimentary 3 years of valet maintenance. Complimentary means complimentary on the house. If you got to get that oil changed, you got to get that air filter changed, you got to deal with wiper blades, wiper fluid, whatever the case may be, they come to you, they leave you a loaner, take it back to the dealership, handle the maintenance, bring that car right back to you. You never lift a finger. Could not be easier. It's all about convenience. It's all about experience. It's a luxury brand at a reasonable price. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge, and you can find them online, genesisofbatonrouge.com.
Parish Construction and Roofing. This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs. From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even JB could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of JB Falgout.
Banking on the go? Our mobile app makes it effortless. But at Campus Federal, you're more than just an account number. We build relationships with our members, supporting you from saving for college to owning your first home. If you're buying a car, planning a home renovation, or a vacation, we're here to help. Campus Federal Credit Union, your trusted financial partner for every stage of life. Start your journey today.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tuesday show is always brought to you by Daryl May of RE/MAX Partners, licensed realtor in Louisiana and Mississippi. He's 20 years in the building space, has that realty license as well. So if you're looking for somebody who knows what a good buy might be, knows the area as well as anybody, because he spent an entire lifetime here, Baton Rouge and in St. Francisville, Daryl May of RE/MAX Partners needs to be your first call. Brings you our Tuesday shows each and every week. We certainly do appreciate him. Matt's probably going to catch you up here in about 12 minutes on the goings-on between LSU and Brian Kelly. I spent my first 15 minutes today talking about that. There's a story up, two stories actually, up at LouisianaSports.net right now detailing where LSU stands in that entire saga. It's essentially LSU's contention that Scott Woodward did not have the authority to fire Brian Kelly without Board of Supervisors approval. He did not have that the day after the Texas A&M game. Therefore, LSU suggests that that was not the actual day of termination. And now LSU expressed to Brian Kelly and his team yesterday that LSU plans to fire Brian Kelly with cause. Brian Kelly's team not impressed with that. They're filing suit against LSU, and now it's going to be fought out in a courtroom unless two sides can come through with a settlement. LSU offered, according to the lawsuit, $25 million, then bumped that offer up to $30 million up front. Kelly countered with $43 million. That's a $13 million difference. We're going to court right now unless they can clear that up. So that's where things stand. There's more information in that piece, LouisianaSports.net, and Matt will certainly talk about it coming up in 10 minutes. So just wanted to reset that here on this Tuesday. It's kind of in the news of the day, both here in Baton Rouge, and then there's been some national buzz with it as well. So go check that out for free at LouisianaSports.net. All right, take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. Looking for something light, crisp, refreshing with all those flavors that you're looking for from a delicious beer. Take it from Yingling, the oldest brewery in the country. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer.
All right, let's start it off with, very current event. The Dallas Mavericks have finally fired GM Nico Harrison, oh my God, I can't speak. Whatever. He traded Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and the 2029 first-round pick. After a 3-8 start to the season, the Mavs finally pulled the plug on Harrison. Is this the worst trade in NBA history? Take it or leave it.
Take it. I think it is. I mean, that league is absolutely, positively run by superstars.
100%.
You have to.
Got
and
to.
you had one of the best 5 players?
Maybe 3. Right now, he's averaging 37.99.
Yeah, traded him. Got Anthony Davis, who is in the training room a lot.
He's played 15 games out of his, 40-something.
Excellent. Who could have seen that coming? Certainly not anybody here. Yeah, bad deal. Poorly done.
Terrible. So next we have Jackson Dart, who has 7 career starts in NFL, but he's been evaluated for concussion 4 times already. Will Dart last in the NFL? Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. I'll bet on the kid. I hope he plays well. I kind of hope that he plays for Lane Kiffin next year, the Giants. If LSU's not going to hire Lane Kiffin, maybe the Giants could hire Lane Kiffin to coach Jackson Dart. That's kind of my next angle on this thing. I got to get Lane Kiffin out of Oxford. Because once Lane Kiffin leaves Oxford, the strong possibility is the next guy's not as good.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
It could get better, but we know what the floor is in Oxford. Yeah. It looks a lot like Matt Luke. It looks a lot like Ed Ogeron. It gets ugly fast in Oxford, and that's what I need. I need that back, especially considering that LSU is playing Ole Miss the next 4 years because LSU and Ole Miss are annual opponents in the new Southeastern Conference 9-game schedule. So I got to get him out. If he's not coming to Baton Rouge, which maybe he is, maybe he isn't, but if he's not coming to Baton Rouge,
get him
Giants.
Out. Get him out. Who's LSU's second opponent? Is it Arkansas?
3 of them. It's Texas A&M, Arkansas, and Ole Miss.
Okay. All right. Last but not least, Travis Hunter unfortunately underwent LCL repair surgery, effectively ending his season this year. But the Jaguars are currently sitting at 5-4, and they're 2-3 in the last 5. But this is the kicker. The Browns own the Jaguars' first-round pick this season from the Travis Hunter trade during the draft. Did the Browns just fleece the Jaguars? Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it. I mean, the Jaguars got a really good player. He just got hurt. So I think the Jaguars will take that. You always want to be a little bit careful trading first-round draft choices. The Pelicans know something about that. But look, they got Hunter. That's a guy they think is going to be dynamic. They had their quarterback, so that's when you really don't want to change.
Do they have a quarterback, though?
I mean, they've got him. They're going to play with him. So it doesn't look great, but, I mean, do you want Trevor Lawrence next year or you want one of these college kids?
I don't know. Depending on what I've been seeing in Duval, they're about ready to run him out of town, man.
That's cranky folks. But I think it's fine. Just, injuries are something you can't quite forecast. Unless you're the Cubs and you trade for a pitcher who's lost 4 miles an hour in his fastball and then he has to, miss time after the trade deadline. That's not good. But
we're going to leave it alone, though. We're going to say we're going to leave it alone.
We're going to leave that alone.
All right. That's it for Take It or Leave It.
All right. That's it for Take It or Leave It. We haven't talked about this baseball betting scandal. It's such a bummer. These guys who are on these 7-figure, in some cases 8-figure contracts that are intentionally screwing up in games for thousands of dollars. It just makes no sense to me. I realize that money is money and that people want money, but like when you're Emmanuel Clase and you're one of the best closers in Major League Baseball and you're on a monster contract and all of these pitches you're throwing to essentially fix bets are worth tens of thousands, like that's so dumb.
Yes.
And then you look at the prison sentence, it could possibly be like 50 years in prison for throwing balls and fixing, like, don't do that. Just don't do that. I understand people that get mixed up in gambling things when you're flat broke.
Yeah.
You watch the movies and you see, like, when you're a multi-million-dollar Major League Baseball pitcher, one of the best in the sport, and you're fixing pitches for $10,000 bets, like, that's just dumb. I have no other way to describe that than dumb. And now
egregious
you're
misses,
for it.
by the way. They're terrible. The little compilation's terrible.
It just, don't do that. They're going to figure it out. This is the tip of the iceberg. I think people are doing it all across sports.
Let's go get ugly.
You better stop, because if you get caught, promise it's not worth it. There's not enough money in these bets. Nobody's betting $50 million on it. Don't do that. That's it for today's show. Catch it on demand if you missed it. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further Review. See you tomorrow for a Wednesday edition of The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.